Yes.
Honorable members, Madam Speaker.
Prayer. Almighty God, who in infinitude and prudential goodness have appointed us of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and just government of humanity, we beseech you to look upon with abundant favor these your servants, whom have been pleased for the performance of such important trust in this land. Let your blessings descend upon the people here assembled, and grant the mayors in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under their deliberation, is so just and fairly manner promote your honor and glory you, and to advance the good of those interests you have committed to your church. Amen.
Item 2, communication from the chair.
Honorable members, welcome to this afternoon sitting. I can see out of the 83 ministers, we only have 2 ministers in this government. Congratulations. Honorable members, I just want to make a reminder that tomorrow, 23rd, we'll have a business committee meeting at 10 a.m. in the conference center. And I'm informing the leader of opposition, the leader of government, the whip of opposition, the whip of government, and all the whips from different political parties. So we'll have the meeting at 10. And 10 is 10. One thing I promised myself is to keep time. Honorable members, yesterday I met a team of health professionals. That's the Federation of Health Professionals. I received a petition from them, and in their petition, one of the pertinent issues that they raised is lack of blood in the blood bank, and that is very dangerous. I talked about it yesterday, and I expected the Minister of Health to be here to report on the status. We cannot have a country without blood. We cannot have hospitals without blood. So we need an action on that immediately. People are dying. A doctor was telling us how he was looking for just 1 liter of blood, and it took him about 3 hours to have blood. So we need a healthy nation, and for you to have a healthy nation, you need to have the health sector in a good position. They also talked about the issue of the interns, the 1,900 interns that government promised to deploy. I am requesting that these interns, the 1,900 that we promised on a budget day, should be paid and should be deployed. I'm yet to hear from the Minister of Finance how far. Because once we have these interns, and I've kept reminding you, These interns are your brothers, your daughters, your sons. If somebody, you pay school fees for 4 years, somebody to do medicine, and it does not go through internship, that person cannot practice as a doctor. Let's help these people. Even if we don't have where to place them, they should be able to do their private business so long as they've qualified. They need to do internship. So we'll need to hear from the minister. And as you plan for the 1,900, we have the accumulated 4,000 interns. So we need to have a plan for the 1,900 and then the 4,000 that are incoming. As leaders of this country, I believe you're working for your people outside there. And it's those doctors, those nurses who are supporting our people in terms of health. They support our people. We need a healthy nation. And for you to have a healthy nation, you need to have people who are healthy. So, honorable members, Prime Minister, we also have the National Health Insurance Bill, which was withdrawn. We want that bill back in the House. Tell us, why was it withdrawn? Can we have that bill back in the House and we legislate on it? It was even, we had actually finished. We need reasons as to why it was withdrawn and why we should not pass. So we need that bill back in the House. We need an update on what plans you have as government on the 4,000 interns incoming, but I need an immediate response from the Minister of Finance, who is here, on the promise that you made on the budget day of the 1,900 interns. Has the money gone? Now that we are crossing to the next financial year, we don't want the money to be returned. Can we get an update from the minister?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Yes, on 15th of June, we made a pronouncement that we had fulfilled our obligation in this financial year 2022-2023 of 22 billion, which was the funding gap. And I want to confirm that the cash limit was issued to Ministry of Health, and cash has also been given. Madam Speaker, I wish to inform this House that I'm very happy that now we have all the money to cross the financial year, and it has come late, meaning that, implying that we shall not cross until 30th of June. So entities have up to 30th June to clear all the invoices which have been outstanding in our system.
Honorable Minister, me and you, we are all accountants. We believe in the same. Can I have evidence to that effect that the money has been forwarded to so that we know who is responsible? Is it Minister of Health? Is it Finance? So can you give me that evidence tomorrow? That tomorrow, as we go for the business committee, please give me that evidence that the money has been
Much obliged,
transferred.
Right Honorable Speaker. I am sure my team at the ministry is listening. Even now, before you adjourn the House, we should be able to provide you with evidence.
Please do. Give us evidence that the money has been taken to finance, I mean to health.
Thank you, Honorable
And
Minister, for giving.
is that for the 1,900 interns?
Madam Speaker, yes, the issue at hand, which we addressed with the Committee on Health, was in regard to the outstanding for this financial year, which involves 1,000 900 interns. We noted that the number of interns keep growing every other year, and that is why in the budget speech, we said we have paid 22 billion, and going forward, we want to agree with the stakeholders involved to see how to manage this issue of interns.
Honorable members, I think it would be prudent for executive to have a stakeholders engagement on this matter. These people need to know where we are coming from, where we are, and where we want to go. Because we're encouraging people to do sciences, so they are all compiling there. And as you encourage people to do sciences, you must have a provision for monies to pay for those sciences. So you need to call for a stakeholders meeting and then agree on what should be done as we plan for those people who are already out there. Yes, Commissioner.
Yeah, thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I remember very well when the
Honorable members, as you enter, please log in.
Right
And
Honorable
as you go out, log out. It is there. If it is not functional, check which side is functional.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for that information. Right Honorable Speaker, when it is about now 2 months, when the interns brought their petition, and Right Honorable Speaker, I remember on that day, you delegated me to receive that petition on your behalf, on behalf of the Parliamentary Commission. Right Honorable Speaker, the information I want to give this House is that apart from if what the minister is saying was done today, but as of yesterday, the medical interns, the intern doctors that I met, the group has not been handled. There is no money that has been paid. There are no interns that have been placed. These people are calling me, Right Honorable Speaker, because I received their petition on your behalf. In 1 minute or in 10 minutes, you receive like 20 calls from this intern, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I request that today, since you started with this on your communication, we sort out this matter. The Prime Minister is here, the Minister of Finance is here, the Minister of Health can be summoned to come to this House so that we sort out this matter, since the Minister of Health has, the Minister of Finance has already said that all money is available. Let us sort out this so that when we go back, the students are settled and they are back to their hospitals working and everything is moving slowly. Otherwise, as of yesterday, there was totally nothing and these people have not been handled. Right?
They actually
That's the
students.
information.
They are not students, they are doctors.
They are doctors. I beg your pardon.
Honorable Minister of, a very good able Minister of Finance. Can we just give you 5 minutes to give us that evidence? You get for us the evidence of payment. And Prime Minister, we have 4 ministers in health. Can we have a Minister of Health in the House? Yesterday I said we needed a statement in this House from health. The ministers do not take that serious. We need a Minister of Health in the House. And we need evidence of payment to Minister of Health in the next 10 minutes. Yes, Christian.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I'm reacting to your communication relating to the blood gap within the country. Right Honorable Speaker, most of the members of Parliament.
I hadn't finished my communication. Can I finish? Honorable Prime Minister, when do we get the National Health Insurance Bill back in the House?
Right Honorable Speaker, now that we are calling the Minister of Health in charge of the insurance bill, we are going, she's going to take it up and give us the actual time when she'll bring it back, because she's the one who withdrew it. So she has to tell us if they are ready so that it can be brought back. I want to go out and I contacted her. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Christine. Thank you. Members, let's wait for an answer on the payment of interns. We cannot comfortably sit here when people are dying in hospitals because there are no doctors. We need an answer on the national insurance, the health insurance. We need an answer on the blood bank. Yes, Christian.
Right, Honorable Speaker, concerning the blood bank, most of the members of parliament had volunteered to mobilize our electorates to give out blood. But the challenge was the blood collection equipments and kits. You would mobilize like over 500, but the ministry comes up with only 100 kits, and you just send away other willing people to give out blood. So we would just get a response from the minister as far as the blood collection kits is concerned, because people are willing to give out the blood. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. We'll need to find out why they were not able to collect all the blood. Nathan, then Judith.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's about 1 month ago, the Deputy Speaker mentioned here that we would have a malaria walk where we would even give blood. We walked all the way. Reaching here, there were only 3 beds where one would go and give blood. There was not a single minister for Ministry of Health. Are they 4 or 5? There was nobody. You know, you have walked all the way Kampala, about 15 kilometers. You were tired. You would want to have somebody to receive you, go on the bed and give blood. I gave blood because I was a committed person, but not to find a single minister, even to advertise, even to popularize. We have, I think, a dead ministry. They must wake up, Madam Speaker. The minister is supposed to talk to members of parliament. He's supposed to be there. We are working with the deputy speaker, not a single minister, political head. I think that solidarity really is important.
And that still relates to what Christine is saying.
Yes.
People are willing to give blood, but there are no people to collect the blood. And yet there is no blood in the blood bank. Do you want us to provide money for REITs so that you divert that money? Yes.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I mobilized the community to donate blood in Waya district. We have a hospital called Anaka Hospital. Right, Honorable Speaker, I derived that from the challenge that my people are facing in the constituency. I believe it's a national issue. Right, Honorable Speaker, category of children with the sickle cells. And members of parliament, including myself, every day we are receiving phone calls to support the parents run with their children to look for where they can access blood. Right, Honorable Speaker, sometimes we are even forced to run to hospitals and we give in our blood to be tested whether it matches with the patient to donate. Right, Honorable Speaker, I have a hospital in Waya district, but the hospital doesn't have a cold machine to keep the blood, but the community are willing. The children are supposed to be taken to Lacho Hospital, to Gulu Regional Referral Hospital. Every month we are losing children with the sickle cells. I feel very, very much that pain as a mother. Today we are celebrating and we are commemorating the children who died with the sickle cell. Sincerely, Right Honorable Speaker, Ministry of Health, what is their plan? Cold machine, I've written a proposal to one of the embassies to help us donate or purchase one of those cold machines to donate to Anaka Hospital. Up to now, have not received that.
I think since we've asked the minister to come, we could raise our issues on the issues of the blood when the minister is here, so that she responds to our issues. Because now we are only talking to ourselves. Yes.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. The Minister of Finance is Junior Minister, the Honorable Musasizi, is celebrating, Madam Speaker, that with 80 days remaining to close the financial year, we now have the money. And knowing how government systems work, in fact, Musasizi should be in Ruzira. 80 days to close the financial year and he's celebrating, we now have the money. Then the second point, Madam Speaker.
He should be in Luzira doing what? For what case? What crime has he committed?
When you present a budget, Madam Speaker, you show the source of funding. It is on the basis of that Parliament approves the budget. The Honorable Musasizi and his company, his group, brought a budget here and they presented the sources of funding. We have now run a full scale of the financial year, and at the end, he says he now has the money. That is a crime. But Madam Speaker, the second point.
What Honorable Musasizi said, now the collections have been good. Even defaulters like you have been able to pay. So the collections are now high. Now the money is available. The interns are going to be paid. All those people that are demanding government are going to be paid.
But,
so,
Madam Speaker,
can we give us our evidence of payment?
Madam Speaker, if you allow me to raise my
was on
matter.
point of order.
No.
Madam Speaker, the second point,
beyond that.
I want to go and give blood. But I want assurance from government whether these ministers who stole Mabat will not steal blood. I am available to go and give blood, even today.
Honorable members, the way you're talking about Mabati, it's like it's the first thing that has ever been stolen in Uganda. So many things have been stolen. And the people who stole are in court. So it shouldn't be an issue, it shouldn't be an excuse. If you want to give blood, give blood. Don't talk. You've kept boring us about Mabati. Me, I'm bored of it. There are other important things that we should talk about. Huh? Now, we are talking about blood, you're talking about Mabati. Huh? Honorable members, can I have order in the house? Honorable members, in the public gallery this afternoon, we have students from Nakanyonyi Girls School from Jinja City. And you're most welcome. And Honorable Majeri is a product of that school. Honorable Majeri, thank you. And they are represented by Honorable Majeri and Honorable Issa Abiri Aga. You're most welcome. You're most welcome. This is your parliament. So when you're debating, be mindful that there are kids up there that you need to inspire. Yes, there's a procedural matter here. Honorable members, now we are going to look at matters of national importance. Yes.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, you may recall that on the 19th of May, we did pass the appropriation bill here. And during that debate, as you may recall, that the Ministry of Energy was deprived of 100 billion shillings that was supposed to be for electrification. Aware that the parish development model has now been rolled out and the money has been given, we would definitely desire that that resource is availed. However, the reason that was advanced for depriving the ministry that money was because during the time of rationalization of REA, we did here authorize a transfer of funds that were in REA, totaling to so many billions of shillings, 500 plus, and the ministry had not absorbed this money or accounted for these resources. And I recall you requested the Minister of Energy to come
You're
here.
saying that the ministry are not absorbed
The ministry,
and are not accounted for?
yes, are not absorbed those resources. And you requested that before we can reconsider that maybe even a supplementary in the near future, that let the ministry, the minister come here and tell us what happened with the resources that were taken together with the REA as they were transferred to the ministry. And also, Madam Speaker, you are aware that the ECP policy, where government came up with a plan to support our communities, connect power at a cheaper rate, we're informed that the resources were now available. So that would also call for the minister to come. So the procedural matter I am raising, Madam Speaker, is wouldn't it be procedurally right that you request the Minister of Energy to come and inform us and the nation at large what happened with the resources that REA moved with to the ministry, and also what is available on stock for us for the ECP policy, since our people are waiting for the free connection that government pledged. I beg to submit.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, I had already asked you to come with the accountability for the money, the loan. Can we have that accountability and a report?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Yes, that question was asked the day when we were passing the appropriation bill. And my team is actually preparing the accountability of the money which this parliament actually transferred from REA to the ministry. The money is actually being used for implementing projects which are donor projects. The 500 billion shillings was not money for one financial year. It is actually being spent according to the work plans which were approved by Parliament again when you are appropriating the money, approving the support that we're getting from development partners. We shall provide how that money is being used over time. We shall prepare that report and bring it here to Parliament in the next 2 weeks, I pray.
Before you bring the report, is it also true that there was an absorption of that money?
Right, Honorable Speaker, it is not true, because as I said, this money was planned to be used over time. Some of the projects are for 3 years. Some of them are for 5 years. And
when you're making a budget, do you make a budget for 3 years or for one financial year?
Right, Honorable Speaker, when you are transferring the money, you are transferring the projects which already had work plans over time. It was not for one financial year. So this was money which was to be spent.
When money is released for a project, it must be released for a financial year. We budget financially. Now, this goes now to people who know accounts. That assuming you have that money, is it rolled back at the end of the financial year?
I wish to make it clear. You know, the money which was transferred from REA was the total provision for, at that time, the what? It was for a program which was being implemented. It was for an agency. So all that money had to be transferred in bulk to the ministry. It was not for one financial year.
Clarification.
There is a clarification from Sovi.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. My clarification is that where are those projects? Because that money was specifically meant for rural electrification, and we do not see any new projects in our constituencies. So where are those projects? Thank you.
Chairman, budget.
Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I want to inform the minister that when we collapse rare vote, the money which was transferred was 527 billion for the entire financial year, one financial year. That's what we transferred, not for the entire project, but for one financial year.
And it was not absorbed. Was it absorbed within the financial year? Chairman, budget, was the 527 absorbed within the financial year?
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the absorption we normally see at fiscal progress, but we've not seen these projects. The money was not absorbed. It has been lying, going back to Treasury.
And in the circumstance that there is low absorption, what do you do as a budget?
So we normally look for those idle resources and we utilize for other.
So now that the
Vice
idle resources were taken, can you give us, Honorable Minister, just go and bring your report, and your report will be debated upon. We even want to understand whether it was a good decision for you to take REA, because REA used to be more active when it was on its own. So come back with a report. Come back with a report.
Okay, most obliged. I will come back with a report, and I will clarify on those matters in the report.
Thank you.
Number two.
There's a procedural matter from Hajat.
Right, Honorable. Thank you so much. In 2021, but
2021, 2022.
2021.
Okay.
Electric polls.
Financial year 2020, 2021.
Yes. Electric poles were spread around, and up to now, there are many poles standing around without being connected. There are no wires on them. Is it not procedure right, Honorable Speaker, that you direct at the same time that the minister reports over those poles which are standing with no connection?
Some people have even used them as firewood.
That would be criminal. Yes, we shall.
It is not criminal. It is a trespass. You have put your pole on my garden. You're not making use of your pole, and now you say it criminal. For all those years, anyway, bring for us a report.
I will bring that report, including what she has asked. But on tampering with the electricity infrastructure, this parliament actually passed a punitive measure on it, and we shall implement it.
Honorable Minister, that is different. What you're saying is different from the polls that you used to just dump anywhere. So we'll wait for your report.
And the second one, ECP policy, the policy on free connection. Is actually what you passed, this one is different.
Bring a report. Thank you. Honorable Alan. Alan.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. I'm raising a matter of national concern. And Right Honorable Speaker, whereas Article 26, Clause 1 and 2 of our Constitution talks about protection from deprivation of property, several people across the country where road projects are taking place have not been compensated and their land titles not returned. For instance, in Nakaseke, over 200 Uganda holders plus 50 land titles for residents along Luwero Chiwoko Butalang Road have not yet been returned and compensated by UNRA. This is also happening in other parts of the country, such as Nibujuko, PG District, Northern Bypass, Kampala, Wachiso districts, mentioned but a few. Honorable Speaker, constructions of Luwero Chiwoko Butalang Road have commenced, but my people are worried that UNRA may not compensate them as well as not return their land titles. And they are planning to drag this government courts of law. My prayers, one, with your indulgence, Right Honourable Speaker, may the Minister of Works and Transport present a statement as status of those who have been compensated and their land titles returned with focus on the ongoing road projects across the country. Second, Minister should explain why other people have missed out on compensation and their land titles not returned. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. That will go to General. But there's one other question that still, Honorable Mapendusi, so that you answer them at a go.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Right Honorable Speaker, on 20th of this month at around 2 p.m., a truck with registration number UAT.
There is a procedural matter. Honorable members, please sitting.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the seating is in the rules. I don't want to protest against the speaker. And maybe upon a motion, it can change. But the issue I wanted to raise related, if a member has signed a memorandum of understanding with NRM, that member ceases being part of us. When I say us, except if you are blind, the rules say NRM sit on the right hand of the speaker, and they're asking who? And the MPs with the rules. So the procedure issue I'm raising, Madam Speaker, if a member has signed a memorandum of understanding with NRM, voluntarily, wouldn't it be procedure for that MP to go and sit where his heart and body belong?
You know, honorable members, all of us get our votes differently. Some of us get our votes by talking on anything we want to say on the microphone. I said free sitting, and I maintain it. It is in the rules of procedure. There is nobody who is going to deprive anybody who is a member of parliament to sit in any part of any side of the house. And you will not be deprived from speaking from any side of the house. Honorable Mapendusi, the only one I can protect is this one.
Thank
this
you.
This one is only for 2 people. It is for me and for Titi.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. On 20th of this month at around 2 p.m., a truck with registration number UAT 113F veered and plunged into the River Nile at Karomba Bridge. This truck had 2 occupants, Mr. Tumusime, the driver, and a turnman, and goods are worth several millions. Right Honorable Speaker, in 2021, and to be specific, on 25th of April, a fuel truck with registration number UAS 337M belonging to Energy Petrol Station in Lira City also plunged into the Nile at the same bridge and was equally never recovered, including the bodies of 2 occupants, Alex Ogwal, the driver, and Awad Obaro. Right Honorable Speaker, according to the police in Aswa region, over 25 trucks have so far plunged into the River Nile from the same spot since 2011. And all have never been recovered, including the bodies of the victims of those accidents. Right Honorable Speaker, this bridge has become the most dangerous in the country, leading to loss of several lives and goods worth billions of shillings. You're aware, Right Honorable Speaker, that this bridge was built in 1963, a year after Uganda attained independence, and so much has changed since then. I therefore, Right Honorable Speaker, pray that 1, government takes an urgent and proper rehabilitation works on this bridge to save lives and properties of the citizens. Number 2, Right Honorable Speaker, a new bridge needs to be designed and constructed to fit the current demands and challenges so we can allow the country to move freely. Otherwise, Right Honorable Speaker, we run the risk of cutting one part of the country without having access if we don't act immediately. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Mapenduse. Still in the public gallery this afternoon, we have a delegation of prefects from Central College School, Natete. That is Wakiso, you're most welcome. They are represented by Honorable Naluima, Ethel, and Honorable Segona Medad. You're most welcome. Thank you for coming to Parliament. Please have a seat. Join me in welcoming them. General.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the provision in the Constitution provides that Article 26 that nobody will be deprived of his property, and we don't do that. What happens is when a project is going to be implemented, we do what we call alignment of the road, and in that process, definitely there are some properties which will be affected. We assess, evaluate, and use the valuation given to us by the Chief Government Valuer. This is the last valuation which is given for any property. That is disclosed to the property owner. And I'm sure that the number of people, the honorable members referring to, have been given their evaluation. We do that through disclosure. Every person is given the amount of money that will be compensated according to the properties and value of the land in that particular area. This has been done for all the people along the Luero-Butalangu road. Now, the challenge sometimes comes in 2 forms. 1, you find that we may have the money, but then there is a conflict of interest on the property. Sometimes people don't agree who should receive the money, and that takes time. This has happened on Northern Bypass, we have people up to now who have failed to agree on who should take the money in a certain family. And we have that money. And many times because we need the project to proceed, we put that money in court so that when they sort themselves out, then they can go to court and get their money. Many times, the other challenge is the amount of money we get on compensation in the budget, which in many cases does not match the amount of money which we require. And this is known very well in the Committee of Physical Infrastructure, but also even within Ministry of Finance. But we may delay to compensate, but definitely shall compensate. And also the properties, I mean, whatever document we take, including the land titles, once we sever off the part we are going to use, the land title will be given back to the owner. This has happened. Yes, we know that even as late as some of the people on the Northern Bypass, yes, have not yet got their severe title. Some of them don't want to get them until they get the compensation. And we have the documents, we have the records of everybody. So please inform the people and give them the confidence that they will be paid and their land titles will be returned to them.
Yes.
Thank you, Right Speaker, for the opportunity. The minister should be specific in the time, because URA, it has been with these land titles coming to 5 years. When should UNRWA, when should they be paid? Because people are worried the construction has started and it is going to take 2 years. So they are very, very worried. They need assurance of the time.
Yes, further clarification.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the law talks of adequate and prompt compensation. And the money for compensation is embedded within the project. Why should we delay? In his own word here, he said we may delay. Why should we delay compensation of people while the money for compensation is actually embedded within the project? And the law says of adequate and prompt payment to people. Can the minister clarify?
Thank you. There is the last one here.
Speaker, I think the biggest mistake the minister and UNRWA is making is to defy the guidance of court on matters of compensation. Right, Speaker, the Constitutional Court has said you don't utilize land in cases of these projects until people have been fully compensated. That's a decision of court. Now, what has been happening, Right, Speaker, is that UNRWA and your Ministry General goes into negotiation with the people. Sometimes you do negotiate, in other instances you don't. And that's where the problem comes from. So moving forward, I think it is important that you follow the guidance that has been given by courts. You may want the land, we may want the property, we may want the facilities, but the idea of compensation before utilizing the land remains critical.
Yes, General.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Thanks very much.
Still on the same.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. The General said at the beginning, they don't want to deprive people of their property, that they are government. We have had meetings as MPs in Kampala and Wakiso about people who live along the railway line. Even with ministers, the other day we were meeting Honorable Echeru. Before compensation, the minister brought bulldozers and started destroying lives almost. So I don't know whether that was a different government. So the clarification, Madam Speaker, I'm seeking is whether the standard is changed when it came to those who live along the rail line, that these days you are, whose houses you are demolishing, you have finished my constituency, you are now in Nakawa, as if they are not human beings.
So in that case, who was encroached? Is it the railways or the people? I just want to find out who was encroached.
Madam Speaker, the Land Act, which this government has been waving in our faces for many years, creates a category of bona fide occupant. In fact, on private land, you will never evict people when it comes to government. But the particular case I'm talking about, this matter has been discussed. The Honorable Katumba Wamala knows it, and the decision made that they would compensate people. So the reason I'm asking, why are they not compensating it and instead demolish their houses?
Compensate people for encroaching on the right of the railway.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, and thank you very much for the guidance. Encroachers are not bona fide occupants. And this parliament actually at one time even made pronouncements and said we should not compensate encroachers on government property and government land. On the issue of the report, the requirement to bring a report, yes, I can bring the report of how much money we need to compensate on all the projects ongoing. It will be available.
Thank you.
On
The
the
general
issue-
is going to bring a report and we will reconcile it.
On the issue of Karuma, Right Honorable Speaker, Right Honorable Speaker, Karuma,
There is an order.
Madam Speaker, the Minister for Works knows that he has been compensating people in Bukasa who are in the same conditions and circumstances like the one along the railway. Is he in order to mislead Parliament that compensation has not been made to those classes when he has just completed compensating Bukasa? Is he in order?
Honorable Semujo, the minister did not say that government will not compensate. They look at a case by case. And they don't have the similar facts. So the minister is in order to give you information that is available. You are the ones who passed it in this house. Yes, Honorable Minister.
thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, on the issue of Karuma Bridge, I totally appreciate the concerns of Honorable Mapinduzi. And yes, this bridge, first of all, has outlived its usefulness, even in terms of location and approach. That's why we had even reinforced the approach on control of the speed to the approach of the bridge with the humps and rumble strips, but also put some soldiers and including a police traffic control element on one side. It is true that this bridge is going to be redesigned. We're in the process of redesigning this bridge. We are only challenged with the funds. If we had the funds, we would have started the construction. But we are in discussions with some development partners to see that we redesign and reposition this bridge to meet the challenges of the increasing traffic on that road. It's very unfortunate that this number of accidents have happened, but we are going to increase more reinforcements as of now, so that at least if the truck hits on it, it doesn't topple over. Thank you very much. Right.
Thank you, Honorable Tinka.
Madam Speaker, before the Honorable Minister takes leave of the issue of Karuma, they say the trucks worth of a lot of properties are plunging into that river, and the lives, human beings. So far, on average 25 trucks have gone in. If they have a driver and a turnboy, those are 50 people. The Honorable Minister comfortably sits when he talks about redesigning the road without talking about human beings. I feel
But
disturbed.
it is the way the road is designed that is causing accidents. You wanted him to stand.
No,
Did
no,
you
no.
want him?
For me, what I am
Listen,
asking the Honorable
just
Minister.
hold on. The minister has given you an appropriate answer that it is something that government, this country is concerned about. We need to redesign. That road has outlived its lifetime. Now, what did you want the minister to do? To stand because lives have been lost? What is saying we need to redesign the road? Bring your issue that has been answered. If you wanted to raise it, you'd have raised it. Bring your issue.
For me, I only talked about human beings. And I wanted the Honorable Minister
And by the way, it is not animals that drive those,
to tell
those
the country
vehicles.
whether
It is the human being.
every person who will drown in that river will never be recovered.
Okay, now we go the next person. Suvi, you bring your issue now, since yours is covered.
Right,
Thank
Honorable
you so
Speaker.
much, Right Honorable,
So
for
let's
giving
Suvi
me
first
this
bring us.
opportunity. Right Honorable, my issue is about URA's notice to all businessmen in this country to stop the storage of goods in warehouses and be paying their taxes immediately on arrival at the neighboring ports, mostly Kenya and Tanzania. Right Honorable Speaker, this is very unfair because it is ad hoc. These businessmen were not mobilized. They were not sensitized about this program. They've already paid. They are going to lose a lot of money to the warehouses that they've already paid for their goods. It is a very expensive venture for the business community in this country because you imagine the money you have to put in to deal with Kenya instead of doing it at the Ugandan border. So money will be lost if that continues. Ugandans will be deprived of business opportunities on the Ugandan side because this means that business activities are going to shift to Kenya and Tanzania. How about those businesses that have been operating at the border with the high unemployment rate that we have in this country, Right Honorable Speaker? So my prayer is that this should be halted with immediate effect. Secondly, this is going to cause high rise of prices of those goods that we're importing. And most unfortunately is that wheat is among them. Foodstuffs is among them. And we're going to a dry season, Right Honorable Speaker. We had bad rains. So our villages, our people who are the final consumers of these goods are going to face a problem of inflated rates or rise in prices of these goods. Right Honorable Speaker, my prayer is that the Trade Minister should stop this with immediate effect. Thank you so much, Right Honorable.
Government.
Right Honorable Prime Minister, the traders, I'm sorry, Right Honorable Speaker, the traders were briefed about that program. They were sensitized about that program. But I think the Minister of Trade will come here and give a statement about that, but they were sensitized about what is going on. So they were aware. Those who were not aware, maybe they were not around, maybe they did not get information, but the Minister of Trade will come here and give a statement.
So what have you responded to her?
Right Honorable Speaker, the Honorable MPs raising the issue of goods being halted at the border.
It is not at the border. Kenya, you take back the goods to be cleared from the other side, and the cost is borne by the trader. What you need to do is to ask the Minister of Trade to come and report And also give information to those traders on what as the action that, what is preempting them to do that.
Right, Honorable Speaker, that's what I had said at the beginning, that the traders were sensitized about that program. But in case there are those who did not get the information, our Minister of Trade will come here and give a statement to that effect.
And we don't need a statement per se in this house. The people who need that statement are outside there, the traders. Give the traders information on what you've agreed. Because now everything is being done in anticipation. Yes, so we need that minister in the house.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for this wonderful opportunity once again to represent my people. Right Honorable Speaker, this petition, I'm raising a petition which is already in your office. It is being raised by the people of Ndaiga sub-county against land grabbers who have invaded them. Right Honorable Speaker, the petitioners in this petition are Baruku Samuel Nyareba Gordon, Katongo Bugem Mbe, Miss Bira Boscovia, Mr. Sanyo William, Mr. Ruvanjirana, Mr. Bagonza, Pastor Ephraim, Pastor Sabiti, and the others. For Right Honorable Speaker, the cause that they have is that they have been occupying this land for a long period of time, stemming to 30, 40 years. All of a sudden, some people emerged with the land titles, and this matter was brought to the attention of the minister, the president, who agreed in principle to negotiate with for political reasons, to cure the problem. But the land title holders could not be patient. They decided to sell these land titles to the powerful and rich people in this country. Right, Honorable Speaker, these powerful and rich people, they are wreaking havoc by evicting the people of Ndaiga to a level that in the process of evicting people, we lost a life on the 4th of May. One woman was shot in the back as she was running away from the land grabbers. The picture is here, Right Honorable Speaker. Very sad. Right Honorable Speaker.
Lay it on table, lay the petition on table, and I'll refer the petition to the Committee of Fiscal Infrastructure.
Much obliged,
and they will report back to this house, and I will want the committee to go to the locus.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, and I beg to lay on table.
Thank you. Next.
Item
those remaining ones we will handle at Prime Minister's time.
Item 3, statements by ministers on 3.1, the supply of blood in blood banks. Three,
3.1. Can we hear from government?
Right, Honorable Speaker, I'm waiting for the minister who is not here now, but she communicated that she'll be coming in.
Is the minister, do we have only one minister in health? And are the ministers not aware that we start the house at 2?
Right, Honorable Speaker, the 2 ministers, one is sick and one is away. So we have only one minister who was held up in a certain conference, but she's coming.
Yes, Honorable.
Right, Honorable Speaker. We are talking about a serious ministry concerning the lives of people. I am glad that constantly you are on this matter, but you are breaking down because of this ministry. The president needs to know that this ministry, he put there a category of people, he's aware that they have health problems. It is from the Prime Minister's
Honorable member, having a health problem is not by choice. It's not by choice.
You have to be honest to Ugandans.
No, it's not by choice. Anytime you can also have health problems. Last week you were sick, didn't we treat you? No, you first. Honorable Tinker. Honorable Tinker, I want you to withdraw that statement.
Right, Honorable Speaker.
Today it is me.
I withdraw the statement that one of the honorable ministers does not have a back problem.
That the ministers in that sector have health problems.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I have evidence that
Order.
If given time,
Order.
I would lay it on table. Order. But in absence of time,
Honorable Tinker,
allow me to
Honorable Tinker, unconditionally withdraw it.
Allow me to withdraw the statement that the ministers in the Ministry of Health, they are very healthy, but they have refused to come and answer the questions of Ugandans.
Next item.
Item 3.2, statement by Minister on the attack on Lubiriha Secondary School in Impondwe, Kasese District.
Honorable members, the other day we had that information about the attack of the children, and we asked the minister to come with a comprehensive report. I hope it has been uploaded, a comprehensive report on the attack of those children. And I want to thank the Holy Father for having prayers for those children. There were prayers in the Vatican for the children who were burnt in Kasese. We really want to thank the Holy Father for that. Yes, Honorable Minister. Yes, Shadow.
Right, Honorable Speaker, as the House prolonged on 25th of last month, on 26th, our forces were attacked by Al-Shabaab, and we lost about 50 soldiers. About 50 soldiers, as was reported by the president. Isn't it procedure, right, Honorable Speaker? But since this minister is here and is the Minister for Defense, he compiled at the same time a comprehensive report to this Honorable House to know the status of the people we lost, how they are going to be compensated, where are the bodies for the decent burial. We are in the dark. The whole country is in the dark to know what is happening. Isn't it procedure right that the minister be directed to produce a comprehensive report about what transpired in Somalia? Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Minister, what Honorable Chiwanuka is raising is pertinent. After the killing of the soldiers in Somalia, we remained in the dark because the house was not sitting. We're only hearing from statements out there. So we will also require a statement on that. And who are the people who were killed, where the bodies brought, what is the way forward? And that still brings you back to the corruption that the president talked about, where people were selected, who is who. You're taking people who are not experienced enough. And Honorable, somebody raised an issue on recruitment. It takes you back to the issue of recruitment. You're recruiting because so-and-so is a relative to so-and-so, and because you feel there's money in Somalia, so you're sending people who have just been recruited. So, Honorable Minister, you'll come with that report in 2 weeks' time.
Much obliged, Right Honorable Speaker. The statement on Somalia, with those details, Right Honorable Speaker, I would request you give me 3 weeks because there is also an ongoing investigation. The president detailed an inquiry which is going on. Allow me, I know by that time we would have got that report, Right Honorable Speaker. And most of these answers will be given as you rightly put it.
Yes, procedure.
Right Honorable Speaker, I rise on a procedural matter related to the same issue, Right Honorable Speaker, and it is basically on the use of the gun, the illegal use of the gun that has become so rampant in the country. Right Honorable Speaker, as we are talking about the Kasese issue, and the minister today is here, Right Honorable Speaker, killings have become killings, Right Honorable Speaker. The other day in Mayuge, they murdered a businessman. Just early morning, they came and shot the business person and they killed him. Every day, there is somebody who is being killed by a gun, an illegal gun that is being misused. And Right Honorable Speaker, when that incident was happening in the place is called Bukatue, the Prime Minister present here was around after the incident. Right Honorable Speaker, when the community overran the police, the small police post, and they started killing others. This one, they suspect they killed that one. And then killings take place. Therefore, the procedure matter I'm raising, Right Honorable Speaker, would it be procedure right for the minister to come here and tell us also about this misuse of the gun and the killings that are happening rampantly every day? What is the problem? What is not being done? That is right, Right Honorable Speaker, because it is being done continuously and continuously.
And yesterday I talked about the money mobile operators.
Exactly.
They are really killing money mobile operators, and that is how these people earn their living. They go and rob them, they go and... So, Honorable Minister, as you come back, we need to get a statement on what is happening. People are dying. And you know, when you see what is happening when they just shoot somebody, today it is you, tomorrow it is somebody else. We lost that Haji in Mayugi. Now you're making the locals to take the law in their hands. Because when they suspected it was another person, the locals also beat up that person to death. Do they still keep law and order? The police was there. They wanted to link the police also. So, Honorable Minister, we need a statement on that. Yes, Honorable Edie.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. In line of the same, what happened in Mayuge, it is really very embarrassing. Because Haji Hamza, a very prominent businessman, was gunned, and he's a neighbor of the police post, just 50 meters away. On the right hand side of his home is the Marine Police. On the left hand side of his home is the police post, just 50 meters away. But someone coming, so many bullets fired onto the same, but no response. So, Right Honorable Speaker, as we talk about Kasese issues, there are even more issues within our homes, within our villages, within our communities that go undetected. Something wrong is actually not being fixed. The Minister of Defense and Internal Affairs should really come up with a very comprehensive report. Otherwise, we are not secured, our people are not secured, and yet the obligation of government is to keep people with their properties in the hands of police, which is the cardinal role. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I beg that the Minister of Defense and Internal Affairs should really come up with a report for us to come here and debate and find out exactly, is the question about money? Is it corruption? Is it welfare? Is it deployment?
Honorable members, we are going to get that report. But I think what we need to do, Minister, different ministries, internal affairs, defense, security, all those ones. Maybe we need to have a stakeholders meeting. You need to meet these juniors, talk to them, find out what is the problem. You'll find some of them have mental health and they are just there. Some of them have frustration. It could be welfare issues. It is good for you to create time and talk to these people and understand what these people are going through. It is not until you get to understand what they are going through that you'll get to know what the problem is. I wish you could create that time. I remember when General Katumba used to be the IGP or something. You'd get him talking to those juniors and getting their views. It is also good for you to get the views of those people. Generally, you people need to talk to these people.
Right Honorable, we do that, and of recent we have intensified this program. It's really a program.
And since you do that, report to Parliament what problems you found with these people, so that we plan together.
We are going to do that, Right Honorable. And on the second question, that one we are going to organize it with the Minister of Internal Affairs, and together we'll present a security report to the Parliament. Kasese is here.
Honorable members, listen to the Kasese report.
They are now out of what I was going to present, and which I'm going to present now. Parliament has found it right that we have a report on Somalia, but also another report on the rampant guns and misuse of guns.
State of security in the country and the rampant usage of guns.
Much obliged, we are going to do exactly that. The Right Honorable accepted.
Honorable Charity, you're welcome.
Right Honorable, you have allowed us 4 weeks.
You asked for 3 weeks. I've given you the 3 weeks.
Thank you, Right Honorable. This is the statement by the Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs to Parliament regarding the attack on Peter Hunter Secondary School, Nyabigando, also known as Lubiriha Mpondwe Secondary School. But Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members of Parliament, at the sitting of the Third Parliament of Uganda held on Tuesday, 20th June 2023, Parliament directed the Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs to issue a statement that was yesterday, 21st, but because of the circumstances that entailed here, I'm presenting it on 22nd June 2023 about these Kasese killings by ADF. And I wish to thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, for according government and my ministry this opportunity to make this statement. Allow me, Right Honorable, to bring to date all the members about what has been happening all through, briefly, so that we are together, we share the same knowledge about these terrorist attacks. On 13th November 1996, ADF, that time, which was 1,200 strong, all armed by President Mobutu of DRC and Bashir of Sudan, attacked Mpondwe and occupied it for 4 days. The plan of Bashir that time was, as was already supporting LRA in northern Uganda, to be able to flank us from behind by capturing Kasese airstrip for their group's supply of arms and weapons to collapse the NRM government. We mobilized, and in 4 days, we killed 400 of them. Therefore, we failed their plan, and they only managed to just occupy Mpondwe in Kasese for the 4 days I've mentioned, as they were blocked by a small force there. But when we mobilized ourselves, they gave up their mission of capturing of Kasese town and airstrip, and resorted to turning to terrorism by killing people and forcing them into internally displaced camps, IDPs. They also disappeared and occupied the mountain areas of Kasese and Kabalole. Right Honorable Speaker and members, between 1996 and 2007, they were in those mountain and rural areas where we were fighting them, and they tried running to Chibale and Bunyaruguru. By 2007, we had defeated them completely. They then resorted to bombing towns and adopt guerrilla attacks or tactics. Right Honorable Speaker and members, the city and town bombings also quickly got controlled, and they all retreated to DRC, where they were allowed by the government of President Kabila. A team of 100 strong tried to enter and disorganize Chogam, but yeah, sorry for that, but because But out of the 100 that had organized to attack us, 87 were put out of action. That is killing. And only 13 went back. They had come as civilians and put together all assembled bombs locally. By then,
There's a procedure matter. Procedure.
Madam Speaker, I know that the Honorable Sembija is 2 years old in that ministry. He may not know that several statements about Kasese and ADF have been presented to Parliament with a history that is repeating. So the procedure issue I am raising, Madam Speaker, is whether the minister who was instructed to present a statement on the attack in Kasese should lecture this Parliament as if we are in Chankwanzi about the history that has already been by Honorable Chiyonga, by Honorable Mbabazi. All the subsequent ministers of defense have given that information, whether he should take us back to supply knowledge that we already have, instead of giving us knowledge that we don't have.
Honorable members, it is also a fact. It is also a fact that 85% of the members of this house have just been here for 2 years, who do not have that prior information that you had. Since for you, you've lived and grown up in this house. So let's, for the benefit of the people who have been here for 2 years, can please go on.
Much obliged, Right Honorable Speaker. I will be fast this time. But I wanted to inform the members of Parliament that at that time, that group which wanted to disorganize Chokam had come as civilians, and they combined when they reached here and were assembling bombs locally within and around Kampala. By then, they had also split up and attempted. What we did is to organize the intelligence, because when they split up and they start moving in small groups of 2 or 1 or 2 people, you have to use intelligence. And this was fought by knowing, following them up, and also arresting them. The ADF is a weak force, Madam Speaker and honorable members. Since the days of President Mobutu, it would have grown into a massive force. It has an anti-people philosophy and it does anti-people actions. During the regime of President Kabila, these ADFs were given liberty to stay in Congo. But since then, 20 years plus, they have remained weak. But 20 years is really a lot of time. It is the current regime of President, His Excellency Tshisekedi, which has helped us and accepted to work with us to enter Congo under Operation Suja to attack ADF from their safe haven in DRC. Right Honorable Speaker and members, the joint UPDF and FARDC is the army, is the equivalent of UPDF here. Operation Suja in Eastern DRC has been a success. Since its inception in November 2021, over 500 terrorists have been killed, including foreign fighters affiliated to other terrorist groups like Al-Qaeda, Al-Shabaab, and the Islamic State Central Africa Province, ISCAP. Over 50 have been captured. About 30 have surrendered on their own. And over 100 former abductees rescued, and various types and calibers of arms and ammunition and IEDs, improvised explosive devices, and ID making materials have been recovered. So a number of terror cells and collaborator networks, both within Uganda and in DRC, have also been destroyed. Life, I want to inform you, Right Honorable Speaker and the members, that life has also returned to normalcy in the areas of operation of the joint forces. Former abductees have returned to their homes. Schools, places of worship, and businesses have reopened, and abductions of the local people have been curtailed. Infrastructure, especially roads, have been either put in place or rehabilitated, which has eased the own movement of troops and supplies, goods and services for local business communities, and so on. The local communities in DRC are appreciative. Where we are, UPDF and FARDC, people are appreciative of the joint UPDF FARDC forces that have enabled this return to normalcy. I have organized a small map which is there. But you can see just a bit of that. The iPad, it is not there. So we are showing only that part around the Rwenzori, from the Chibali National Park down up to Queen Elizabeth National Park, Lake Edward down, and when you enter Congo, we are showing just from Bulibo through Virunga National Park, then Kasindi, Mpondwe. Where we had this problem is in Mpondwe, which I'm going to talk about. What you will know about Butembo, Butuhe, Kabasha, and Beni, and those mountains after the Rwenzori National Park. Right Honorable Speaker and members, the ADF is mostly in the northern parts of the road from Kasindi to Beni. You can see Kasindi, you can see Beni on the northwest. Kasindi in the middle, near Mpondwe and the Beni. So the northern parts of that road and the south of the road is occupied by UPDF. And where the UPDF is operating from, life has come back to normal with the population settling back on economic production. For example, they have gone back to growing cocoa, coffee farming, cocoa and coffee. Shops are often open and schools are running. And all the shops, if I have to volunteer some information, are full of Ugandan goods. All these towns from Beni, Bunia, Kasindi, all of these, when you go there. But that is something else. So in DRC, as Honorable Speaker, where Congo allowed us to operate, ADF could not go to camp there. They now remained in small groups. I use the Uganda word bukunkumuka. Like a dry, when you have dry cow dung and you remove it, what remains is they are small. When you remove the rump. So these remaining bukunkumuka remnants, small scattered remnants that cannot attack barracks and the police stations. But why do they attack civilians and schools and killing innocent innocent people? We are very sure that they do this to give themselves publicity, to make the world know that they are still there, but also detract us, UPDF, back from attacking them in Congo in their main camps. So we have denied them space locally, but we also need to finish them from where they are in their perennial hideouts in Congo. And this country should not remain in this panic forever. What the ADF is doing is not a sign of strength, but of weakness. Otherwise, why don't they attack military and police barracks or ambush army vehicles? As you know, Right Honorable, when you burn a log, even the ash, which we call a vu in Uganda, can go into your eyes and cause pain. The bukunkumuka should be wiped out, or a vu should be well swept, because all these can cause damage. They tried this in Ntoroko, December 13th, 2022, and they were planning to do exactly what we did to this school recently. They were 51, but when they attacked, out of the 51, 26 were put out of action. Yes, we counted them. When you are fighting, you are not blind. We counted them. 26 were put out of action, and the bodies remained there. And the 25 were captured, and we have them in prison. When we capture them, we don't kill them. We put them in prison. This was a bigger and well-armed group that Rubiriha than that one of Rubiriha, the recent Kasese group, which was less than 10 terrorists. We are carrying out investigations, Right Honorable Speaker and members, to establish and get answers to some pertinent questions, which everyone, including the honorable members, is asking. One, why didn't people, both security and civilians, see them? Two, why were there no identification or suspicion of new or strange faces? All of these will be answered by the investigations or the investigations that are going on. So the findings will avail these answers. We have already removed the logs, but we now need to remove the earth. Now, this instant case, Right Honorable Speaker and members, on 16th June 2023, around 23 hours, that is about 11 p.m., suspected ADF rebels numbering between 5 to 10 attacked Peter Hunter Secondary School in Nyabigando. That same school is also known as Lubiriha Mpondwe Secondary School in Kasese district. Following the attack, Right Honorable, 37 students, one security guard who challenged them, and 4 other civilians were killed. But as I talk now, since yesterday we lost, that one made it 41, but we have also lost another person who was being under medical care. The first information to the nearby UPDF deployment was received at 23:30, that is after 30 minutes, from civilians, to the effect that students were on strike. The people around thought students were on strike, and they were burning the school on fire. This information was quickly shared with police deployed at Bwera, and subsequently a joint UPDF and police force on wheels was dispatched to the scene. Routine foot patrols also joined the dispersed joint force to the scene of crime. Unfortunately, honorable members, the attackers had retreated towards River Semuliki inside DRC, that is exactly down below Mpondwe, and eventually towards Virunga National Park. This Virunga National Park is an area that is not inhabited by human beings and therefore has no security deployment. But the UPDF forces pursued the attackers southwards to River Lubiriha because they were expected to cross there, around 3 kilometers from the scene of crime. Despite that, at honorable members, the pursuit continued, and on 19th June 2023 at around 14:30 hours, that is 2 p.m. here, 2:30 p.m., towards the confluence of rivers Semuliki and Taliha in DRC, the attackers who had made a hasty defensive position were attacked by a UPDF mobile squad, where 3 enemies were killed, 1 submachine gun captured, 1 woman and 3 children rescued. In the initial planning at the start of Operation Suja, such diversionary acts by the enemy ADF were anticipated and taken care of. That is the reason rare deployments in the entire Rwenzori sub-region were maintained. For instance, when the same ADF group attempted to infiltrate in Toroko in December last year, even in bigger numbers as mentioned above, the whole group was annihilated owing to timely information from the civilian population. Unfortunately, in this case of Kasese, Lubiriha, the information was late, inaccurate, and a small group was able to infiltrate with the assistance of some collaborators. That is why some of them have already been arrested to help in investigations. Operation Suja, Right Honorable Speaker and members, was initiated partly to arrest the ADF terrorism from its source in DRC. The bombings in Kampala, for example, in November 2021, were organized from DRC. Had we not deployed in time, the situation would have been worse. In this particular incident, at Honorable Speaker, this was an isolated one and is highly regrettable. However, it does not and will not deter our resolve and commitment to execute our constitutional mandate of defending the sovereignty and the territorial integrity of Uganda in general, Kasese and the Rwenzori sub-region. In the pursuit for these criminals, Right Honorable and members, continues by the UPDF in DRC, and we are continuing with the very deep investigations in order to understand the nitty-gritty aspects of this incident. And other and our forces and other security forces we are going on with the process of investigating these occurrences. Any elements found to have been an accomplice will be arrested and prosecuted as per laws of the country. We are also doing community sensitization and mobilization for vigilance, collaboration with security forces, and working with the security forces is also, we are doing this, and we are making sure that now the population is more vigilant in this affected area. And the general situation, as I talk today, has returned to normalcy. We appeal for calmness vigilance and cooperation from all citizens of goodwill in Rwenzori sub-region and the country at large. And as we continue to deliver on our constitutional mandate of preserving peace and security for person and property within this country and all around our territorial boundaries. Right, Honorable Speaker and honorable members, the country will be kept informed on any other developments regarding this incident and the situation in general. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I thank you, honorable members, for God and my country.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. Honorable members, you've had a statement on what happened in Kasese. It was a very unfortunate incident. And of course, at the end of the day, you can't put a blame on anybody. It happened, and our security forces need to become more vigilant. Yes. Let me start with Kasese. We start with the Kasese people, then we go to the in-laws, to the relatives. Let's not take a lot of time because we're about to go to Prime Minister's time. And how I wish when you're discussing, we should be giving us a way forward. What do we do? Okay.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. To begin with, I want to thank you, Madam Speaker, because immediately I received the news, the tragic news, I contacted you. And I also contacted everybody in the security system, including the president. Madam Speaker, I want to thank you that not only you received my call, but you even opened your home for us to have a meeting and a way forward. And I'm meant to understand that we almost lost you because your pressure went up when you saw innocent citizens, school kids, or future engineers, or doctors, or priests, our judges murdered and brutally terminated their lives in a cold blood. We really want to appreciate you and the support that you gave us and all of the colleagues in the House that sent us their support and strength. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Now, Madam Speaker, I really want to thank the minister for a comprehensive report. Speaker has just guided that we can't blame nobody. Yes, but I think it's critical and it's very important for us to say never again. Never again. Mr. Minister, you indicated in your report that 51 attackers in Taroko, 26 put out of action, that's murdered, and 25 taken captive by our forces. I wish the same really happened. The way forward, Madam Speaker, number one, specific prayer. We have about 5 people still in hospitals. My own estimation, Madam Speaker, is that where a hospital cannot manage their condition. And it's no wonder that yesterday we lost another life that was being managed in ICU at Ware Hospital. My prayer right now, because this can't wait, that government evacuates the 5 and they are taken to better equipped hospitals, specifically in Barrera Hospital, which is not really very far from Kasese, so that we don't, yes, we can't afford to lose another life. Madam Speaker, it pains me because the woman that died yesterday had lost a husband. So what are we gonna tell these orphan kids? That the only hope that they had was maybe the mother surviving to look after them. But if so, I think we've gone through enough as a community. I'm asking this very government, Ministry of Health or Ministers for Health, Madam Speaker, through your directive, these citizens still fighting for their lives in where a hospital should immediately be evacuated, transferred to Barrera Hospital for further and better management. Number two, Madam Speaker, my prayer, and that is a way, as I conclude, a way forward. The president responded to our request as leaders from Kasese. Yes, 5 million was served to each bereaved family, and we're really thankful to the president and the CDF. But Madam Speaker, we're asking for presence and deployment. The entire Kasese is insecure. The lake communities, the mountainous communities, and urban and village communities. Madam Speaker, we're asking that deployment that relates to the threat should be scaled up, and our capabilities, both soft and hardware capabilities, should be scaled up in that community. And Madam Speaker, very lastly, I'm asking that instead of our sons and daughters going back to their homes, because that is what the parents ask for, that this parliament directs the Minister for Defense, Internal Affairs, and Security to ensure that the students, specifically the schools, boarding schools, should be beefed up with security both day and night, so that we don't have students going back to their homes, but they should be, guarded securely in their homes. Madam Speaker, I really want to thank the entire government, the entire security, and yourself, Madam Speaker, for a collective thought and a collective action. And I think we've heard enough as a community. We want to tell a better story, and it's only you to help us tell that better story. Much appreciated.
Thank you so
Madam Speaker.
much. Prime Minister, I think that's not asking for too much for those people to be evacuated to a better hospital so that we can have.
Right Honorable, the one who died, her condition would not be could not be airlifted, but the others were airlifted, not
They
even
were?
to Mbalala, but to Kampala.
So they are here.
They are here.
Honorable Atkins, I'll assign new people to go and check on those patients tomorrow. Minister, you'll tell us for security reason, we don't have to say it out.
Yes, the Ministry of Health was on the ground, Madam Speaker, and assessed the patients who were admitted in Bugera Hospital. And some of them, like the minister said, were evacuated to Kampala. And the specific patient who died, after assessment, the patient was in a critical condition. The doctors didn't advise that he should be evacuated because she would have died immediately. That's why they treated the patient there, and unfortunately, the patient passed on. So I just want to confirm what the minister is giving, what the Minister of Defense has just given us.
No, he's making a confirmation as a doctor. He's not a journalist. He's a doctor. He's just making a professional confirmation. So, Honorable Minister, we'll need to know where those patients are, and then we'll need to visit those patients and see how best they can be supported. And then what Honorable Atkins is asking, deployment. The whole of Kasese is not safe. That's not too much for us. Members, you will speak.
That Honorable, in fact, his submission was wonderful, and I just want to thank him for the support. In fact, we are going together with him today to the area. But I want to say that we don't have to say everything here, but the capabilities he's talking about, it is Parliament. We can monitor every inch of the border if we wanted, if we had the means. And nobody could have entered even with a pang without it. But the rest is for another day when we are making budget. So you support us more.
You know, when you're talking about security matters, there is what is classified. You cannot speak everything. Florence?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. It is unfortunate that we lost our young ones at such a tender age in cold blood. Right Honorable Speaker, Kasese being on a border, it is very, very impossible for one to cross from DRC with a small smuggled item without being detected, followed, and arrested. Rebels crossed from Congo to Uganda and killed our young ones without being detected. The minister has just told us that these people attacked the school at 11:30. He has not told us what time his security forces reached at the school. He is aware, and everyone is aware, that the rebels came, took their time to kill these students who are making noise and shouting that we are being killed. People are killing us. One student called Kato managed to escape and ran away and ran to a police station, which is 800 meters away from the school. Reported that unidentified people have come to our school and they have started killing students. I have escaped. I managed to escape and I'm coming to report this. The police did not respond. Right Honorable Speaker, according to the students who survived, they told us that the killers spent about 1 hour killing them. They even spent some time to monitor if they had all died and torched them. They burnt the dead bodies to ensure that they are all dead. They did not stop there. They moved to a nearest trading center and looted.
Switch on.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. They broke into the shops, looted, and went away with their stuff without being intercepted. Honestly, where were the security forces? And remember, when they reached at the school, they first shot dead the askari. They had the bullets, I want to believe. This bomb that they used to burn the bodies, there's some 17 were burned to, I don't know. You cannot recognize them. They had the sound of the bomb. The security did not do what? Respond. When we ask these questions, they're like, this one is against us. It is a shame. Very shameful. If you can respond on issues of smuggled items, why can't you respond when it comes to issues of human life? Is it that the money is more important than the lives of the people? We have people who collect information on your behalf. Thank you, Right Honorable. We have the visas, we have the pesos, we have the whistles from wards, we have the gisos. Where were they? Where were the DISOs? They are supposed to collect information on your behalf, and you are arresting the Bataka, you are arresting the civilians. These people have not been arrested. Why are you hiding them? The UPDF, I am surprised, Minister, I respect you so much, but the report you have just presented has made me feel like, what is this? We don't need to cover these issues. If you really love your country, you need to talk the truth so that your juniors can learn that they have been sleeping on duty. If you tell lies to the country, what will the juniors think? They'll think you're praising what they were doing. You have just said that you cannot allow an enemy to cross the border. How did the enemy cross? Remember 2 weeks ago, Kasindi village, which is next to Uganda border, had been attacked by the rebels. People were killed and others were abducted. It should have been a warning that the border is not safe. When we talked about it, you said, no, Uganda, you people in Kasese, there's no need for panic. We are going to boost the security at the border. 2 weeks down the road, we are attacked. So where was the deployment? Anyway, thank you for the support you gave. In Barrios, yes, the 5 million helped, but how about those ones whose children were abducted? People are flooding their homes, they are feeding them. Instead, the parents are dishing a lot of money. And if we say everyone who dies at the hands of, are given 5 million, what is it for? What does it have to do? All we need is the protection of our people, not the 5 million that you're giving them. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much. That still takes you to the question that the minister was asking. Why didn't the people, both security and civilians, see these attackers? That is what is being investigated, and that question has to be answered. Why didn't they see the attackers? And there's also another question. Why were there no identification or suspicion of new or strange faces that came inside the country? And that is what the minister is saying is being investigated. Yes, Ferigo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as leaders from Kasese, we are grateful for the sympathies, for the condolences to our people.
Members, listen to Honorable Ferigo.
Immediately after the attack, the president released the State Minister of Education, Maingo, came, and the CDF came. Muingo.
Honorable Muingo.
Honorable Muingo, the CDF Commander Land Forces came to mourn with us. Honorable Speaker, we received 5 million for every family that had lost a child, a student, and we are really grateful as leaders.
Honorable Charity, I think you're on high demand this side. These people are calling you.
Honorable Speaker, I want to agree. Right, Honorable Speaker. Right, Honorable Speaker, I want to agree with the presentation of my colleagues, the MP Bukonjo West and the woman MP. It is true for us who were on the scene, realized that there was thin deployment. There was thin deployment. Why? Because the Major General, who is commanding our forces in Congo, informed us that they heard about the attack when they are in Congo. They attempted to come from Congo to come and rescue our people, but the Congo border could not allow them quickly to cross to Uganda side to rescue our people. The Major General confessed that, meaning we were relying on the forces that had already crossed to Congo to come and rescue a situation which is in Uganda. That confirms there was thin deployment, Madam Speaker. Right, Honorable Speaker, what happened on that scene was terrible. By the time our students died, they cried for help, Madam Speaker. One of the girls that died is a daughter to my cousin. These people cried for no help. It was terrible. Right Honorable Speaker, our students were butchered. It was real butchering, Right Honorable Speaker. Being killed like goats, being slaughtered, Right Honorable Speaker. It took over an hour when our students are being butchered. Right Honorable Speaker, it's my request that UPDF consider deployment, serious deployment on ground. This is very serious, Right Honorable Speaker. Our people died badly. If you reach the site, you'd feel pity. The boys who resisted to be stormed in the dormitory were burnt beyond recognition, Right Honorable Speaker. When we are removing the dead bodies, you could not recognize any of those people until up to now when they are carrying out the DNA test. Wherefore, the Right Honorable Speaker, I want to request Minister of Defense to work closely with us leaders in Kasese. Let's work closely. Let's use the medias. We call upon our people who have been diverted into that rebel work to calm down. We are lucky our king has been released, and we are grateful to the president. Our king of that area has been released. We are very, very grateful. Let's work closely with him to mobilize our people to leave this rebel work. Right Honorable Speaker, we have vigilantes in Kasese who are trained at village level. I want to recommend, Right Honorable Speaker, that since we have thin deployment, let's reinforce the deployment by also involving our vigilantes on ground. Let them be armed so that in case we are attacked, even our local people who are trained participate in defending themselves. If we had such an arrangement, there would have been some preliminary self-defense, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, let me conclude by thanking you, thanking every member to have been concerned about the killing of our people in Rwenzori region. Thank you for listening to me, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honorable Ferrigo, and everybody's cry is on deployment. The thin deployment, we need to increase on the deployment. And maybe we need to train the vigilantes to be able to protect people. I'm not saying arm them, I am saying train. Some areas have had the same kind of scenarios. We had such kind of things in Teso, where we had Arrow boys. In Lango, we had Amoka. And I remember Mero was one of the Arrow girls. Acrobats.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Madam Speaker, I want to join my colleagues from Kasese to condole with the parents who lost their dear ones. Madam Speaker, the issue of massacring our children is becoming too much in this country and for the region. If I can recall way back in Kasese, St. John's, we lost the same. When you go to Chwamba Technical College, we had a similar massacre like the recent one. So my plea to Minister of Defense, like my friends have alluded, we really need serious deployment and combing the entire mountain, because an attack on Kasese is not only for the people of Kasese, but for the entire sub-region, for the entire country. Because you look at the mountain stretch, it stretches from Kasese through Bunyanga, Bontoroko, up to Bundibujo. So when the people of Kasese are in agony, when the people of Kasese are in pain, equally the people across the mountain are all in pain. Madam Speaker, last weekend in Bundibujo, the security personnel arrested 3 UPDF terrorists. So the combing, ADF, I beg your pardon. 3 ADF terrorists were captured, and it is on record. So my prayer, I want to appeal that the combing should not only be done in Kasese, but also across the whole mountain, because you are aware that that mountain is hard to reach. And also the roads in that area are impassable. Like the minister alluded, that security roads in Congo have been worked upon. It is also my prayer that now that if we can work on the roads in Congo, why not our roads on the mountain slopes? I beg to pray.
Thank you.
I want to thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, and the Minister for your statement. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I want to say that the right word should be laxity in the forces that were within the country. While the rebels were advancing to the school, they met a border rider and tried to shoot him. They shot at him 2 bullets. He left the border and ran to police and reported that I have met attackers. And the police at the customs post asked him to go and report at Mbondwe police post. A civilian who has managed to reach the police post is asked to go to another police post. Right Honorable Speaker, from the scene of crime, it is not more than a kilometer southwards that you will find a UPDF detached. And they did not come to rescue the children that were killed after the burning, after the bullets, after the heavy crying. With due respect, from the minister's report, he indicates that the attack was at 11 and the response was at 11:30. I would like to request that you revisit the source of information because it's not true. Right Honorable Speaker.
What is true?
No,
what I'm saying, what
is true is that there was no response until after an hour, beyond an hour, because the attack took more than an hour before these people left. Right Honorable Speaker, I also want to report that our people, our community is left in suspense. We expected that government should have directed on what should be done, for example, in schools. Parents are reaching out to their children and withdrawing them from school without a government direction that we are going to protect the other children in other schools in this form. It has been left to whom it may concern. I hope that an action is done in protecting our people. 2 days ago, a community member from Kajwenge is another sub-county in Bukonzo East, not Bukonzo West where the attack happened. A community member reported that I have seen 5 people walking downstream in a river. 2 of them are armed and the other 3 are having bags on their backs. Went and reported to UPDF, and up to today, their whereabouts is not clear. This still makes the community live in a state of fear. People are no longer sleeping in their homes. And I think it is important that at this point, we take this as a serious attack, because Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I was surprised to see a government representative mention that what happened was not anything related to ADF, but rather a conflict of ownership of the school. This was very unfortunate. I am happy that the minister has clearly communicated that it was an attack by the rebels. But that was a misleading statement from a government. Actually, it was another DC who made that statement. I want to report what I heard from church, because it was the other DC mentioning it from church. Right Honorable Speaker, we have those that survived. They have been affected with trauma. Actually, I know the two of them who have been always on the watch, because at some point, I think out of hallucinations, they keep on running away and they are left unattended to. I want to really thank the government that brought in a gesture of the feelings, a gesture of responsibility, a gesture of condoling, and gave the 5 million, gave the 2 to those that were hospitalized. However, those that survived were given 150,000 shillings. And to me, 150,000 shillings to somebody who has survived, I think this one needs more support. And you know, for it to be on record that government has sent 150,000 shillings, I believe it is not yet late. Let government commit to rehabilitate these survivors so that their future is not written on the bad side of life. As I wind up, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, we need to intensify our efforts in regionalizing the schools that are being established in our communities. First of all, from the statement of the minister, he indicated that he's reporting about Peter's Secondary School, which is also known as Rubiriha Secondary School. And I think this is not really true, because at registration of an institution, it should be able to give a clear name so that we know which school we are talking about. And from the ground, when you asked, they gave you 3 different names of the school. And I wish you'd interest yourself in seeing who is the director of this school. Madam Speaker.
Honorable, you're now bringing in the wrangles. Now you're bringing, talk about what you had started. Now you are accepting that there are wrangles in the school. Leave alone the registration of the name of the school. Let's now talk, what is the way forward? Honorable Minister, what are you promising this country?
Right, Honorable Speaker, I want to finalize this point because it has some very important aspect which I want to bring out.
Can we look at what is the way forward to protect the people of Kasese? Honorable Minister.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I want to, first of all, thank the honorable members who have spoken here, especially those from Kasese and the Bundibujo. But and I want to say that UPDF, which I oversee, is really committed. And if we see how these people are suffering, the UPDF, your people, they're also suffering, to make sure that there is peace. But that one aside, I just want to assure the members here that we are doing, the president has, even before I came, the president has already given us orders to beef up, to add the numbers and add the technologies to the border before I came here. So I want to assure the members that
Honorable Minister, Why didn't the security respond when the first report was made?
Exactly, that was my second point. Right Honorable Right Honorable Speaker, and these are the questions I've posed in my report. We are investigating. We have already put a very serious investigation. Why all of these people wouldn't, of course, preliminary answers are coming that these people didn't come in a group at first. They took days even to converge the 10. They were coming one across the border, I think, sending information, the other one. So it was a very organized way of doing it, but Right Honorable, we are investigating, and even when I come back, we are going to, I will give a.
So when these people were crossing from Congo to Uganda, there was no way you could notice whether these were rebels or not.
That is preliminary, yes, the preliminary information we have, because they didn't come in a group. So they were assisted when they were coming.
Clarification. Clarification I'm seeking, Madam Speaker, from the Minister. Honorable Minister, in your statement, you have vividly and clearly put it that ADF is a very weak force. And I would be persuaded to agree with you if you would clarify on this. With all the intelligence gathering, following even the United States government level 3 issuing of travel advisories, warning even their citizens not to travel to Uganda because there was a looming terrorist attack. Don't you think this week ADF force has beaten UPDF intelligence hands down? 2, the second question, this attack plus coupled with the previous spate of insecurity in the same Rwenzori region, Madam Speaker, has had a very serious toll on the sector of tourism and trade. In fact, as we talk, this is one of the sector, and if it is a weak force, that's my question. $1 million question. Supposing ADF, which you have despised as a weak force, has a military strategic plan to hit Uganda hard through via the economy side, haven't they succeeded, weak though they are? That the economy, which is already grappling with the other shocks, now the sector which was a potential that would attract and help to boost the economy is now hardest hit because of the weak force called ADF. Let me conclude, Madam Speaker, with this. Where are UPDF and the government of Uganda's priorities? We have UPDF. It could be, this force could be overstretched, Madam Speaker. We have deployed in 5 countries. And the motive is to pacify those countries. And it seems we have succeeded. Although recently, we have lost our sons and daughters in Somalia. Back home, we are losing the defenseless students. This is not the first time. And it doesn't seem to be from the signs of the times to be the last time. So would we say that the priority of UPDF and this regime of NRM is to protect neighbors, and they are not bothered about the protection, the lives, the security, and the property of Uganda?
Honorable members, let's not speak politics here. It is about our children. It is about our children. Yes, the UPDF has been taken out. What we are mindful is you must deploy to protect our children, to protect the Ugandans. irrespective of whether it is NRM or whichever party, what is important is we want a deployment. You lose out on your point when you bring in politics. Because those children that you're talking of, maybe could be for NRM, could be for a NOP, could be for a UPC. So for us, we are looking at how best can we protect our children, Ugandans, property in Uganda. We want a deployment in the area. The ADF is not as weak as you have said. If they were weak, we will not be having 43 bodies lying, helpless bodies. If they were weak, we would not be having business failing in that area. So what we need to do now is to have a plan. Honorable members, let's look for a plan. What is the way forward? Yes, a procedure matter.
Madam Speaker, I am moving under Rule 52, and I want to thank you. Thank you because until your intervention, this matter had been casually handled. The Minister of Defense is here to present a statement because of your guidance. At the beginning.
So who else did you want to guide him to give a statement?
That's why I'm thanking you. At the beginning, this government had sent a junior minister of education to be the one to address these complex matters. And that is reflective of their response when they received the reports as members from Kasese have described. Rule 52, Madam Speaker, that under which the minister has moved this statement, should be utilized to provide Parliament with information, and then you can seek for help. Not propaganda. I know the Honorable Bamuranzi Chisempija from his time as a Masaka district chairman. I don't know why, especially ministers from Uganda, you are allowed to carry statements that are a shame. So you come to Parliament to begin lying and lying. And you want us to,
Honorable.
I am raising procedure.
Honorable.
I am raising a procedure.
Honorable members. Honorable members. The statement is not a shame. He is present, it is not lies. It is a fact there was a death. It is a fact there was an attack. So what is a lie there? It is also a fact that the government is looking towards making sure that we solve this problem. Now, you people, you're going diversionary. You're now going diversionary instead of us looking for a solution. And I am not going to allow your cheap politics in this thing. It is about our children who are dying. I am going to ask you, the minister, with a team, all of you sit. The Committee of Security, Internal Affairs and Security, Defense and Security, I want the committee to go down and see what is happening. I want a fresh statement from the minister on what has been done. I want what has been done. I want a statement on how many children were captured. What is the position of those children? I want a statement on the patients. I want a statement on the patients, and the government must look after those patients, not giving 150 the way you're thinking. Honorable members, we need a statement from the Minister of Education. I wish you people could leave me to speak. We need a position of the students, because now we are hearing parents are taking back their children. How ready are you to secure these children in the schools? These children should continue being at school, but you must provide security for it. Honorable members, the trauma, the stigma these people are going through is not an easy one. We need a counseling service for these people. You want to come and do politics in the house here. When people's children are dying somewhere, we want to protect lives. The role of security is make sure the lives of people is protected, property is protected. Honorable ministers, not one minister. It's a multi-sector approach. All of you must go to the locus and bring a proper statement and action taken. Next item.
Item 4, motion for adoption of the report.
Prime Minister's time, sent it for.
Item 6, Prime Minister's time.
Honorable Prime Minister. Meanwhile, Honorable Acheng is here. Dr. Acheng, we want to know the status. Prime Minister, bear with us. We love you so much. We love your statement. And we know you are Majegere, but we want a statement on the blood bank. We wanted a statement on the money for interns. He has brought the document showing the cash limit. So we want you to confirm whether your minister has got the money as he alleged, and then a brief statement on the blood bank, because they say there is no blood completely.
Madam Speaker, allow me to start by apologizing. Today we are commemorating the World Sickle Cell Day. So
Can we have order calling her?
I am sorry that I couldn't be in the house on time, and I will try to be as brief as possible. Madam Speaker, allow me to start with the issue of blood. Honorable members, you are aware that from time to time, we continue to have challenges of blood availability because we need over 400,000 units of blood on an annual basis, but we are not yet able to collect that amount. The highest we have collected is 300,000. Right, Honorable Speaker, we still have blood in our blood banks. And I have statistics in regards to that I'll quickly read. In Nakasero, we have 2,400 units. Masaka 535, Mbarara 390, Hoima 200, Jinja 150, Mbale 400, Gulu 250, Mengo 100, Lira 300, Soroti 300, Arua 200, Nebi 50, Kavale 270, Rukunjiri 172, Fort Portal 317, and Chitovu 350, giving us a total of 6,284 units available at this point in time. However, we must take note that there are areas which may go under stress very soon, and Nakasero Blood Bank will be able to redistribute the 2,400 it has, and currently they are collecting blood as well. So Right Honorable, that is in relation to blood. As regards interns, Right Honorable Speaker, we received 22.9 billion Uganda shillings, but that is not for deployment of the current interns. It is to pay arrears of interns who had completed internship and had not been paid.
That is the 1,900 interns.
No, Right Honorable. Those are the 935 interns who had completed internship in April this year. They had finished internship before they had gotten their payments. And also the senior house officers who are continuing, who had not been paid for a period of 4 months. So the 22.9 billion is to pay for their arrears. Now for the 1,901 interns, we require 80.4 billion Uganda shillings to deploy them. And out of that money, Ministry of Finance gave us 8 billion for interns and 2 billion for senior house officers. So we are not able to deploy until we are sure that the 80.4 billion will be provided. Right, Honorable, that is the correct position. Right, Honorable, the last question was about the National Health Insurance Scheme bill, which was returned, and we have concluded discussions with all the stakeholders. We only had one issue that the Attorney General had to settle, and that is between the Insurance Regulatory Authority and us on the regulation. After that, and I believe by the end of this week, we will have concluded. We shall take the paper back to Cabinet, and I'm hopeful that by the end of July, we should be able to lay on table here in Parliament. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I once again request that you forgive me for coming late. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We want that bill in the House. And I'm happy you're about to complete. Two, on the issue of the, you've heard the issue of the interns.
Yes.
Have you heard?
Yes. Light was. Light the house. The light was.
On the issue of interns, let's first get Prime Minister's time. I am happy you have the information. And that's what I want you to ask the Prime Minister. Ask the Prime Minister. She's the head of Prime Minister. Let the Prime Minister answer her part, and then you ask her about that.
Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, the Honorable Ruemulicha Uganda in Toroko County, he asked a question. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to inform the House that we have taken some time without answering some questions. But I've been updating the questions as time goes on. On 25th April, Honorable Ruemulicha Uganda MP Toroko raised a concern regarding the delay by the Ministry of Public Service recruit critical staff for Toroko District Local Government. And his prayer was, why has the Ministry of Public Service delayed to approve the recruitment of critical staff from Toroko District Local Government? My response, Right Honorable Speaker, is that in Toroko District Local Government undertook recruitment without clearance by the Ministry of Public Service and did not follow the laid down recruitment procedures and the relevant appointing authority, the District Service Commission. As a result, a number of people who were recruited were eventually deactivated from the payroll, a matter which is before a court. The wage which the district indicated to be in excess, therefore, includes wage for positions that were contested. Additionally, whereas some payroll categories are indicated to have excess wage, other categories have a deficit. The above situation of excess wage in the payroll category and deficit in the other category is the situation in most local governments. It is for this reason that a tripartite meeting was held between the Ministry of Public Service and the Ministry of Local Government and Finance, Planning and Economic Development, and votes on wage harmonization and budgeting for the financial year 2023 and 2024. The meeting agreed to undertake a comprehensive audit of the payroll by the Auditor General and stay clearance for recruitment until the completion of the audit, which has since commenced. Number 2, Honorable Lochap Peter Ken, MP Bokora East, that in September 2022, the Ministry for Gender, Labor and Social Development held a press briefing on externalization of labor. However, we have been waiting for an update on the plight of migrant workers from Uganda to Saudi Arabia, especially domestic workers whose human rights are often violated. His prayer is that can government update the House on the steps it has taken to address the plight of Ugandans who migrate to Saudi Arabia for work. My response, Right Honorable Speaker, is that government of Uganda and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia have historically enjoyed cordial relations. As a result, over 150 Southern Ugandans earn a living from working in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The Ugandans living in Saudi Arabia remit about $700 million annually, out of the $1 billion remitted from the entire Gulf cooperation countries. Since 2015, Ugandans have been traveling to Saudi Arabia to work under either bilateral labor agreement or on general workers, which is still valid, or an agreement for domestic workers which expired on 23rd February 2023. Consequently, the government of the Republic of Uganda had negotiations with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, resulting in signing of a revised bilateral labor agreement on recruitment of domestic workers on 29th March this year. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, the following are some of the areas that were successfully negotiated in the bilateral agreement. 1, both parties are obliged to establish a mechanism for deliberating on and resolving emerging issues on welfare and rights of the domestic workers. That is in Article 2, subsection 2 of the bilateral agreement. 2, both parties are to regulate and control recruitment costs. That is in Article 3, subsection 6. 3, deductions on salary are prohibited. That is in Article 3, subsection 7 and paragraph 10L. 4, both parties to ensure that the workers have recourse to compete, have recourse to competent authorities in cases of contractual disputes. That is in Article 3(8). E or 5, both parties are to take legal measures against employers and recruitment agencies for any violation of laws, rules, and regulations in either country. Article 3(9). 6, the government of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is to ensure that employers, let me repeat this, the government of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is to ensure that employers respect terms and conditions of the employment contract, that is in Article 4, 5, and 6. An employer wishing to transfer the services of an employee is obligated to inform the Ugandan and Saudi recruitment agencies before the transfer. Right, Honorable Speaker, number 8, an employee wishing to renew his or her contract must inform the Saudi and Ugandan recruitment agencies and also seek the approval of the Embassy of Uganda in Riyadh. 9, the Saudi Arabian online recruitment system will be integrated with Uganda's external employment management system, that is Article 3(11). This will strengthen migration data management and monitoring of migrant workers. 10, a joint technical committee for monitoring the implementation of the bilateral labor agreement will be constituted within 2 months of signing. The new agreement will go a long way to address the human rights issues that arose in the past and enable our people to stay safely and work in Saudi Arabia safely. Ugandans wishing to seek employment abroad are advised to always use only licensed recruitment agencies. This is because the Ministry of Gender, Labor, and Social Development and the embassies maintain a record of migrant workers placed abroad through a licensed agency, and this makes it easy for our embassies to trace them if necessary. I also call upon licensed recruitment agencies to operate ethically and in accordance with the law. That, Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, the Ministry of Gender, Labor, and Social Development embarked on a process to extend the external employment prospects by exploring opportunities in other countries such as Canada, Turkey, and the United Kingdom. The government of Uganda, through the Ministry of Gender and Social Development, is committed to entertainment of safe, orderly, decent migration for all Ugandans. The Honorable Kugizibwe Arid Ronald Bururi County, that's Masindi. In March, the heads of primary school teachers' colleges received communication from the Ministry of Education that the 46 primary teachers' colleges, that is PTCs, were going to be rationalized. Apparently, it was decided to maintain only 23 core PTCs. His prayer that what is government's plan for the remaining 23 core PTCs and their staff. My response, Right Honorable Speaker, is that on 21st February this year, the Ministry of Education and Sports passed a resolution to rationalize and repurpose the 46 primary teachers' colleges for effective utilization of the available resources. It was decided that the 23 core PTCs should be maintained and the 23 remaining non-core PTCs be repurposed for other education functions. Right Honorable Speaker, the changes are in line with the key reforms being implemented by the Ministry of Education to transit the primary teachers' colleges from certificate to diploma and later degree awarding institutions. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, the National Teachers Policy approved by Cabinet in 2019 stipulates that a teacher should have a minimum education level of a bachelor's degree by the year 2023 and by the year 2031. Once the policy is implemented, the existing national teachers colleges and primary teachers colleges that are currently awarding diplomas and certificates will start teaching degree courses. The Ministry of Education and Sports will then start phasing out the current diploma and certificate courses, and will then this would then be done fully in 10 years. The core primary teachers colleges are going to continue offering diplomas alongside the national teachers colleges until they transit into degree awarding institutions as planned. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, during this process, Shimoni Core Primary Teachers College will be repurposed into the main campus for the proposed Uganda National Institute for Teachers Education. Santa Maria Primary Teachers College, Kokonjeru, will be repurposed into a core primary teachers college, PTC. The option to repurpose the remaining non-core primary teachers colleges will be agreed upon with the relevant authorities. All the substantive staff of the non-core PTCs will be redeployed to the core PTCs and the other education institutions. Right Honorable Speaker, we have Honorable Moses Kamuntu, MP Rubanda, County West. He says Rubanda District faces delays in service delivery due to shortage of teachers and health workers, and that there is need to categorize the district as a hard-to-reach area so as to benefit from funds earmarked for such areas. His prayer is that what criteria is used to determine hard-to-reach areas. Then the other question is, what is the possibility of including other areas in the hard-to-reach areas category? The other question is, which areas are categorized as to hard-to-reach? Excuse me. My response, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the Ministry of Public Service observed that there were areas in some local governments that had consistently failed to attract and retain skilled and capable human resource, leading to inadequacies and gaps in the delivery of services. Right Honorable Speaker, this was observed through inspection reports, support supervision exercises, and payroll status reports. These areas were therefore defined as hard to reach. Hard to reach areas are defined as remote, insecure areas that are unable to attract and retain sufficient numbers of motivated staff because of difficult living conditions. They are therefore hard to work in and hard to stay in. These areas are characterized by remoteness, insecurity, and poor infrastructure, among others. That Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, in the year 2010 and 2011, government approved payment of hardship allowances of 30% of the basic monthly salary for public officers working in the local governments defined as hard to reach. The following 24 areas are categorized as hard to reach. And these are Kotido, Nakapiripirit, Abim, Moroto, Kabong, Padel, Chitugum, Ngoya, Amur, Karangara, Guru, Bundivujo, Ajumani, Kisoro, Kanungu, Buko, Ntoroko, Buvuma, Lamu, Namayingo, Napak, Mayuge. Specifically, Marong areas, Mairong Island, Bugiri, specifically Siguru Island, Mukono, specifically Kome Island. Over the years, the Ministry of Public Service has received requests from various local governments to be considered as hard to reach areas. Consequently, the ministry carried out a study in the year 2020 in order to review the hard to reach and hard to stay areas in the country based on the criteria of remoteness, insecurity, and poor infrastructure. Out of the 63 districts that had requested to be considered, 54 were found to have hard to reach and hard to stay spots eligible for payment of the hard to reach allowance. In total, 340 hard to reach spots were identified as the qualifying localities within the 54 districts. I have left my paper there. That Honorable Speaker and colleagues, allow me to lay on table a full list of the hard to reach areas and hard to stay areas in the country. Allow me to lay in the interest of time.
Yes.
Members can have access. That Honorable Speaker, based on the criteria used, I would like to inform the honorable member that is Uganda district was not categorized as hard to reach and hard to stay district. It is also important to note that the Ministry of Public Service has not yet implemented a revised hard to reach framework. The current priority of government is salary enhancement of all public officers in a phased approach. Honorable Speaker, I got another question from Honorable Adome Francis, MP Moroto Municipality. He came up with a prayer that what is government's plan to rehabilitate government-aided schools in Karamoja. Honorable Speaker, my response is that government of Uganda, in collaboration with the Education Department partners, has been providing infrastructure support to both primary and pre-primary institutions in the Karamoja sub-region. All the post-primary institutions, 11 secondary schools and 2 PTCs benefited from infrastructure support under Irish aid. all secondary schools in Karamoja sub-region implementing universal secondary education were provided with additional infrastructure under the World Bank support, and were provided with additional classrooms to attain the recommended classroom student ratio of 1:60. Additional support has also been provided under the Transitional Development Grant, constructed phase 1 of the IK secondary school in Kabong. Katikekile secondary school, that is in Moroto district. Nadunget secondary school in Napak. Furthermore, Karamoja is a beneficiary of the U-Gift project, where 16 seed secondary schools are being constructed. Number 6, Honorable Ariek Judith, Kore district. There is a problem, according to her, of rampant illegal commercial production of charcoal across the country, which is a danger to the environment, that we are losing important forest cover, including trees of great medicinal and commercial value like shea butter nut tree in northern Uganda. Her prayer is that the Right Honorable Prime Minister, what measures has government put in place to control charcoal burning and its effects? My response, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, is that the National Environmental Act number 5 of 2019, Schedule 5, lists commercial charcoal production as an activity that requires mandatory environmental and social impact assessment. It is an offense under Section 157 of the Act to commence an activity which requires environmental and social impact assessment before obtaining a certificate of approval from National Management Authority, NEMA. This offense, upon conviction, attracts steep penalties for both individuals and corporate bodies. Honorable Speaker, anybody interested in commercial charcoal production must have a sustainable source of charcoal wood with mechanisms for sustainability, as opposed to uncontrolled clearing of land. And this can only be ascertained through an environment and social impact assessment as required by the law. It does not matter if the land is private or public, gazetted or not gazetted. As of now, National Environment and Management Authority has not issued any environmental and social impact assessment for any commercial charcoal production, and as such, the ongoing commercial charcoal production across the country is illegal. Therefore, the Uganda Police Force, the district local governments, the National Forest Authority, and all other law enforcement agencies can apprehend for prosecution anybody found engaging in commercial production of charcoal without an environmental and social impact assessment certificate from NEMA. Furthermore, government through the Ministry of Water and Environment put a ban on commercial inter-district trade in forest products in Acholi sub-region, which had stood out as a hub for illegal sources of wood. His Excellency the President, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, the President of the Republic of Uganda, under Article 1992 of the 1995 Constitution of Uganda, as amended, has issued an Executive Order number 3 of 2023, putting a ban on charcoal burning in northern Uganda and northeastern Uganda, except with permission from the Ministry of Environment. Right, Honorable Speaker, in 2022, government launched a pilot project to promote the use of liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, as an alternative to charcoal use. LPG can protect forests from being depleted for charcoal and firewood production and use, hence contributing to the preservation of the environment. Government, through the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, is implementing a mitigation measure to curb the high demand of charcoal. The ministry has already distributed 10,000 LPG cylinders to households in the urban areas in central Uganda, where there is high demand for charcoal. Government has budgeted for funds to roll out the same intervention in other parts of the country in the next financial year. Number 7, Honorable Peter Okeo, MP Bukoli Island. The Association of Fishers, the Association of Fishers, it is fishers. Right, Honorable Speaker, I beg for your protection. These are fishers.
Honorable members, listen.
Right, Honorable Speaker, the Association of Fishers and Lake Users of Uganda.
The Prime Minister is reading the question as it was. That the Association of Fishers and the Lake Users of Uganda.
The association, thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. The Association of Fishers and Lake Users of Uganda had asked for an extension of the deadline for licensing of fisheries from 31st March 2023 due to insufficient funds as a result of dwindling stocks. His prayer that may I update the House on the fate of the fishermen who were not able to meet the deadline. Right, Honorable Speaker and colleagues, this is my response, in that the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries had earlier set 31st March 2023 as the deadline for issuing new licenses this year. Non-compliant fishermen risked being denied access to the water bodies after the deadline. After receiving numerous complaints from sector players, including fishers, processors, transporters, and boat makers, the ministry found it imperative to extend the deadline and allow them time to look for money to pay for the license. The ministry therefore extended the deadline for licensing of fisheries activities for 2 months. Not only was Speaker and colleagues, the fishers without valid fishing licenses will not be allowed to operate effective this month. The fishers who fail to utilize the 2 months, grace period to clear the license fees will not access the water bodies. After the deadline, the ministry will focus on compliance and enforcement on all the water bodies. Therefore, I urge the fishers to take advantage of the then grace period. Number 8, Honorable Annemel Kobugabe Tumwine, woman MP Ntoroko. Ntoroko district lacks a standard livestock market that the livestock traders operate in an open space without any friendly user facility and have for so long decried the lack of a loading bay and a conducive working environment. This is the last question, brother. Her prayer is, what is government's plan for livestock farmers in Toroko district? Just a few lines. My response, Right Honorable Speaker, is that in February this year, government of Uganda, through the Ministry of Local Government, under the Local Government Growth Support LEGS program, launched the construction of projects worth Uganda shillings 2 billion in Toroko district. The projects include the construction of the Butungama livestock market and the Nyakakote water gravity flow scheme. Honorable Speaker, the infrastructure will enable the Toroko community to participate in the economy and the country's development agenda. Once the livestock market is completed, it will go a long way in boosting the district's local revenue and also provide a favorable environment for the livestock farmers to carry out trade without any hindrances. Honorable Speaker, I beg to submit.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Prime Minister. Yes.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much. Just for us to have a correct record, because when I listen to the Prime Minister, I think those who will be reading this will find it difficult who are reading answered. When you look at the definition of a fisher, the fisher is a small carnivorous mammal native to North America, a forest-dwelling creature whose range covers much of the coral forest in Canada. So we need to correct the record such that those who will be reading the record.
The Prime Minister was talking about fishers.
Yes.
Fishers. Now, the definition of a fishers is a person, it's not an assertion, is a person who catches fish for a living, a person. This time we are not talking about fisher women. We are talking about a person. A person can either be a woman or a man. So the word fishers is correct. So there is no correction that we are making. Yes, Suvi. Honorable Suvi.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. First of all, I want to appreciate the Right Honorable Prime Minister for the answers. I have a question. Honorable members, you've been in the House and you've heard the inconsistency of the interns, the payments of interns. What is the fate? See there. Okay.
Prime Minister, Honorable Minister of Health, we are helping you to help your ministry.
What is the fate of the 1,900 interns that are not being paid? What is their fate? They are not deployed. They are not being paid. What is their fate? Secondly, there is an issue of depletion of forests in the country, and the Prime Minister talks about LPG. But honorable members, LPG is not even affordable to the working class of this country. It is very expensive, and we have our oil. What is the government plan in utilizing our oil to produce LPG in the country instead of importing it? Oil is in the oil region. The Prime Minister will tell us where the oil is. Thirdly, there has been a problem the whole of this.
Can we have one question at a go?
Okay.
Let's handle what you first asked about the interns.
Right, Honorable Speaker, using the powers given to me by the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, I constituted.
And I want you to listen very well. The Minister of Finance.
I constituted an interministerial committee this month, and we are handling the issue of interns. I request for some little time.
Prime Minister.
Right Honorable.
For us to be able to work together and in harmony, how much time do we give you?
I think 2 weeks are enough.
2 weeks, very good.
Yes.
We should be able to have 2 weeks for that. Dr. Tala?
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Prime Minister. Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the question that I would like to ask the Prime Minister is in respect to asbestos that are still littering the whole country. Asbestos is a non-carcinogen, and specifically is known to be responsible for causing small cell lung cancer and asbestosis. Right Honorable Speaker, it's not.
Honorable Dr. Tala, that's
Yes.
a very, very good question. I want to suggest, put it down in writing for the benefit of the whole house and the whole country.
Thank you.
Because once you put it down in writing, enough research will be done and you'll have all what you need out of that.
Thank you, Right Honorable. May I now ask a question that relates to the submission of the Prime Minister? Because I thought I would start with another question. But
Honorable members, I adjourned the house to 2 p.m. on Tuesday.